What is required for life itself is electricity, and what you need for economic development and social stability and uplifting your standards of living is energy at the lowest possible cost. So reliability and cost needs to come together. I'm not convinced that having very expensive reliable energy is going to help anybody, and just as much as having very cheap unreliable energy is of no value either. So private sector tends to be efficient at most things it does, as I'm always quick also to point out, in abusing the rules as well. So you need to set the rules right. So long as you've set the policy framework right, apply competitive tension in procuring, private sector, you cannot beat private sector's capability to deliver reliable energy at the cheapest possible price. Pretty much across the continent, rich country, poor country, it won't make any difference. In comparative terms, compared to public sector's ability to deliver that megawatt in that country, private sector will always be able to deliver it cheaper and more reliably. It's been proven. It's not just because I'm saying it. Number one, Morocco. And the reason is very simple. In Morocco, you have, at the highest level, sponsorship. The king is 100% convinced in ensuring competitive, reliable energy to be delivered to his people. He is convinced that private sector is the best vehicle to do that. He is convinced that over time, 100% of the energy should shift towards renewable energy. To be fair, Morocco is an energy importing country, fuel importing country. Okay, so he wants to move towards relying on the energy that's available to themselves, the sun, the wind, local resources. So he's way before renewable energy became the most favorite subject for discussion. He was convinced, and he started to implement a renewable energy program. So with that clear strategic direction and leadership by His Majesty the King, and then oversight, very close oversight, asking for reports every few months, and then subsequently assigning the responsibility to a team, picking a solid leader and staffing that team, and then that leader staffing that team with a bunch of capable people, has delivered a stunning program. The actual framework, the legal framework, the nature of contract, everybody can get it right these days. But without that level of sponsorship and oversight, inevitably, we are human beings. We kind of end up taking it all over the place. And the classic example I've got to tell you of that evidence is South Africa. So South Africa also started several years ago in implementing a model renewable energy procurement program. Did a fantastic job in round 1, round 2, round 3, and started to deliver significant amounts of renewable energy at ever decreasing prices, setting new benchmarks. Amazing, okay? Interesting enough, in the same country, while there were other procurement programs that were not necessarily doing so well, not so necessarily being executed well. And then, classic case, because of lack of focus at the executive level or at the top level, or alternative priorities, don't want to get into the politics of it, attention was lost, program got suspended, went into a mess, and now it's being resuscitated and coming back in a very forceful way. So it's all about leadership. A lot of people will tell you, your question was, what is it? There are a lot of factors that must come together, but the most important factor that makes a difference between success and failure, not just spectacular success and failure, is about that central sponsorship. The leader, it's all about leadership, that leader being utterly convinced, and then that leader following through in monitoring. For me, as an investor, I think what we need to keep in mind is the massive opportunity. It is a grossly underserved market. And quite frankly, it's a market that is desperately yearning to be served. So just as much as those people who have already jumped into the distributed energy space are finding, where they are delivering solar panels on top of very, very remote places, very, very poor people, and yet they are getting paid very reliably, they are able to collect the money. I think that's something that we as investors should not forget in the energy space. Now, I don't know what it will be like in other sectors, and that's not my business, but basic service like energy, and I would imagine it's exactly the same for water. And by the way, look at mobile phones. What a spectacular success. Even the poorest of the poor is using mobile phones, paying for it, clearly getting the benefit from it. So you don't have dishonest people in Africa, you don't have crooks, you don't have people who are not going to, are not trustworthy or creditworthy. Clearly they are responding, provided you deliver service, reliable service at an affordable price. So for me, forget about anything else. I think the most important thing to remember is that you actually have a population out there that is desperate for service, that is horribly underserved, and it's a massive opportunity. Events like this, very good forums. It's all about communication. It's all about us sharing knowledge with each other. These kind of events allow engagement. It's very important to get policymakers, practitioners, private sector participants, industry. If they're all like this, that's great, and I'm sure DLO will continue to improve it. It's great. I've enjoyed the day. Thank you.